Welcome back to Lucid Trading. Good afternoon, good morning to everybody out there. I'm a little later than usual, like usual, and I will be streaming extra long, so we'll be compensating for that. Yeah, how are the markets looking right now? Let's have a look. See if we can turn off the power hour template. Right, so looking at first of all, I want to say something about Rivian. If there's any sign in the market that markets are looking like a frenzy or like a bubble, then well, it's right here. Rivian just hit a valuation of 140 billion. It's sitting at a price of around 162. I believe the IPO price on Rivian was around $78. It's sitting double that. It's sitting more than double the IPO price, which is quite a large feat given the fact that Rivian it was already sitting at a very high market cap. So it doubled that high market cap with very little revenue. They have projected numbers. They have projected orders. They have all these projections, yet they haven't really delivered on those projections yet, and we have no proven track record like we have with Tesla or some other companies like NIO or XPeng, whom has they've already been able to deliver many vehicles, and even they have had tough times. So I believe we're not pricing in any risk factors into Rivian. It's all it's all bullishness. It's all positivity. So all I'm going to say is this is the place you have to look at when you're thinking, oh, the market is in a bubble. Look at Lucid, look at Rivian right now. Both companies have almost no revenue. They have no revenue, right? So they don't have revenue yet. Lucid is going to be announcing their revenue next quarter, yet it's being priced in as a market cap of around 80 billion. I mean, okay, I guess we're going there. But yeah, I have never in my life witnessed these kind of valuations without like real numbers being there. At least people are underestimating how difficult it is to produce these vehicles on a large scale, and that's what we're seeing right now. Wall Street Bets is gambling their money on Lucid and Rivian, and thus we're getting these exacerbated valuations. But that's okay. That's fine. Markets are green, so let's go with it. Another 10% for Rivian, another 10% for Lucid. The VIX is barely going up right now. You can see that right here. VIX is just kind of going flat. We're also seeing the dollar actually heading up. The 10-year yield is going down about 0.7 percentage points, which is, to be fair, it is going down. So it's not going up today, which tends to be a very good thing for the growth stocks. However, when we look at the growth stocks, look at this. Robinhood is down 3.5%. Netlist down. Virgin Galactic is down because Richard Branson is selling his stock. And there's a lot of things happening here that are, in my opinion, not looking bullish, right? Twitter is going down 2%. Snapchat is going down 2%. GGPI heading down now. And so you can see that the growth stocks overall, they're kind of pulling back, at least in this list, right? The Chinese stocks, you can see Baba going up about 0.5%. DIDI down 1%, but then Tencent and BYD and Baidu, all of them green. Value stocks are green. Semiconductor stocks, right? The Nvidia is kind of going flat right before earnings, because it's already sitting at a very high valuation. And look at this, AMD is going up 2%. So there you have that. AMD sitting at a valuation of 180 billion, which is crazy, right? So like I've said before, let me see, 20% ago, I think it was sitting at the same valuation of Rivian. So at the beginning of November, which is just 2 weeks ago, AMD was sitting at the same valuation as Rivian. Isn't that crazy, right? Rivian, a company without revenue, is sitting at the same valuation as AMD 2 weeks ago. And AMD makes a lot of revenue right now. Not only that, they have future revenues, right? So their projections are that they're going to make a lot of capital into the future. They make about on a quarterly basis, about $4.3 billion on a quarterly basis, right? And then profits of about $920 million with a profit margin of 21%. They are very well established. They have got a track record. Yet, how come AMD is, or just a couple weeks ago, was at the same valuation as Rivian? See, that kind of goes to show you that there is something seriously, there's something happening in the market that we have seen before, maybe decades ago. We've seen this with the dot-com bubble. We know what happened back then. You have this frenzy. Most people start putting their money into the stock market, or a lot of people from different kind of classes, economic classes, are putting their money in the stock market. People think that stocks can only go up, and so far, for Rivian's IPO, look at this. We've gone up about 76 percentage points. And I thought this valuation at around $95 a share was pretty expensive, and it's getting more expensive right now. I believe people are able to buy puts and calls options on Rivian, and so far it's led the stock to go up another 6.7%. And I think it's getting a little bit out of hand. What are your shorts looking like? Yeah, I had a little bit short on Lucid, small amount really, in this zone right here. I decided to not short this one because I thought earnings might be like, earnings usually tends to be, for Lucid at least, from what I've seen, the stock goes up substantially. So I didn't short a whole lot. I added a small short position right here as it was popping upwards. Same for Rivian. I had a short position on Rivian, a very small short position right here. I wasn't able to short Rivian right here because my trading app didn't allow people to add more shorts. But today they allowed allow people to buy some shorts on Rivian, and I bought some in this zone. So that's quite nice. I like it a lot. I got some at 165, 160, and 155. I am obviously bearish, and I'm actually practicing what I preach. I am shorting these stocks that I do not like right now with the high valuations. It's more of a hedge against my long positions. I've said it before. I've got a bunch of long positions right now, and I want to hedge against those by shorting companies that I think are sitting at super valuations. Let's see. Facebook, what is happening to Facebook right now? 342. I think Facebook, why is Facebook pulling back so much? 1.4% on Facebook? That's kind of strange. Yeah, that's a little bit weird, isn't it? Like, that's quite weird. One sec. Rivian will easily go to 250. We are in a major bull market. Okay, if you say so. You know where I think the Rivian is going to go? I think it's going to get back to 130, probably. That would be a correction of from top to bottom. That's a 20% correction. That's nothing new. Remember Coinbase, right? How much did Coinbase correct? Which was one of the most recent, I think it was a direct public listing. You can see how much Coinbase went down. So yeah, a recent IPO doesn't necessarily mean that it's protected. It could still fall down 50%, like what we've seen with Coinbase. Or C3.ai, for example. How much did C3.ai come down after its IPO? Quite a lot. So yeah. I think Rivian, while it's really attractive, right? Because it's like short term, there's a lot of incentive to be buying the stock because it looks like it's only going to go up. And it's, they've got these flashy vehicles, the pickup trucks and whatnot, which is, I think, the main reason why people are buying into this. They're thinking, oh, wow, these pickup trucks look pretty good. What they forget is just because your product is good doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to provide this product to many people out there. You've got to prove us that you can produce this vehicle on a volume, right? On a scale, on a large scale, in volume production. And we have not gotten that validation yet. And I think that is the greatest risk with Rivian. And I want to say this because I think Rivian is probably the most popular stock in the market right now. Everybody's talking about it. So, all right. So what else is happening here? Let me just quickly take a look at that. There we go. I drove the Rivian truck over the weekend and I'm very impressed. Yeah, it's a really good product. It's great. I'm not saying that the product is not great. I'm saying they have no, they're just getting ready to produce this vehicle on scale, but they're not there yet, right? So it's very difficult to get this vehicle on volume production. And I would argue that we're not only pricing in the R1T, we're not only pricing all the products that they have right now. What is also happening is they're pricing in things that are going to come in the future, potentially, which we don't know. We have no proof that these things are going to happen. Don't forget, Rivian also needs to prove that it can run for a profit. Yeah, exactly. Totally. There's a lot being priced in here, and I'm a little afraid about where the market is going when these kind of companies are getting valued at like 140 billion, 78 billion, when they have no revenue and no profits, no nothing, only projections, just projections. Yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Prove to us that you are doing things. Stop giving us projections. Tell us how many you're producing right now. How many are you delivering right now? How many are you delivering next week? 3 weeks from now? Give us those projections. Unfortunately, we're not getting those projections. All we're getting is we're going to deliver 20,000 in 2022. Okay, but you've delivered like a dozen vehicles. Like going from a dozen vehicles to 20,000 vehicles, it's a huge difference, right? But yeah, that's the reality of things. You can't change that. You know, markets are going to do their own thing. So, what else is happening? Palantir. Oh, wow. Let's see. Wow, that is crazy. Palantir is now sitting at a market cap of 45 billion. Okay. This is getting crazy. Palantir 22.7. So it's sitting at 22.7 right now, down about 3 percentage points. And I've said it before, but I think around this price target, around this price range, it's quite attractive, right? It's not bad. I would not be surprised, however, if we do get a market correction, that we see, I think, 21. 21 has been the level where the stock tends to go towards when there is like market negativity, historically speaking. So that is still going to be a possibility, but regardless, so you get this back. There you go. Regardless of that, I think, let's say it does pull back to 21, right? I think it's going to be able to bounce swiftly above this range even, and get back to $25, hit this resistance trend that we have. This could potentially be the bear channel that we're going to be in. So that's kind of my expectation right now. C3.ai is going down as well. Look at that. C3 down 2.7%. And Snowflake just keeps going up higher and higher and higher. It's a little suspicious. Why is Snowflake going up like every single day and both Palantir and AI are going down? That's weird stuff. Really weird. Some weird things happening here. Like, it makes no sense at all. Snowflake is, for some reason, going up, at least since the bottom here. I mean, how much has it gone up? Like 117 percentage points. Even since this like dip that we had in October, it went up 37 percentage points without like a real correction, really. it just keeps moving higher and higher and higher. And I mean, past earnings were pretty good, I have to say. They weren't that bad. But maybe the estimates, you can see these estimates right here. Why are they giving this company, Snowflake, such low estimates, right? Relatively low estimates. That's the strange part, because given the fact that Snowflake is rocking a market cap of 120 billion, you would expect them to give them some decent estimates. Like, all right, yo, you gotta perform because you're sitting at a very lofty market cap, and see, that is mind-boggling, right? It's like, it goes to show you, like, some companies will just keep going upwards because institutions like it. They just want to keep buying more of that stock. Who do you think is buying Snowflake? Is it retail or is it institutions? It's mostly institutions. They just keep buying more of it, and they're not selling for whatever reason. Probably because of the whole Warren Buffett effect, right? So, because Warren Buffett actually, I think he bought into the stock for Berkshire Hathaway. Interesting. Make sure you hit that like button, by the way. Smash that like button. We have a poll going on right now in the live chat. I asked the question, the S&P 500 is heading towards ... end of year. Basically asking where the S&P is heading. 40% of people think that the S&P is heading to $5,000. No, wait, hold up. Not $5,000. 40% of people out there think that the S&P 500 is heading towards $5,500. See, there's a big difference in that, right? So, $5,500 is a very large price, I would say. Let's see. That is another. I think that's another. Let's see. So by the end of December, we would have had a 17% increase in the S&P. So 40% of people think that what is going to happen next is this, basically. I mean, hey, it might happen, who knows? I don't think it's going to happen, but it's an interesting perspective on things, though. Have we seen something like this happen before? Probably at the .com bubble. Most definitely. Obviously, there's not a lot more choice there, right? You can choose between 5,500 and $5,000, and there's a large gap between these. But yeah, the majority thinks that we're going to see the stock market go up like this. I mean, it could happen, if let's say Jerome Powell doesn't stop printing and interest rates remain near zero, and maybe if they start printing more money, see, that would probably lead the market to actually go up more. And then you have, I think, still a quite large amount of people. 33% says 5,000, which is around, let me see, $5,000. That's a run up to, I mean, that's fair. I think we could get to $5,000. That's a possibility, right? So get to $5,000. Yeah, I mean, it would just mean that we will follow this trend line that we've had, essentially, which will lead it to go up to around $5,000. I think there might be some truth to that. I believe Goldman Sachs just recently came out and said that they believe that the S&P 500 is going to reach 5,100, so 5,100 by the end of the year of 2022. So if we reach 5,000, well, this is Goldman Sachs' target for 2020. Like for the whole year, as in the end of the year, they think the S&P is not going to go above that. That would be pretty crazy, right? So if we reach that target here, essentially meaning, according to some big banks out there, we're not going to go up from there. So we just go flat, according to them at least. Crazy stuff. Yeah, I definitely think, with the money printing that is still going on, with interest rates that is still sitting relatively low, I think we could see some more upside. However, I don't think it's going to be in one straight line. I think we could still get a correction to the downside and just kind of move in that kind of fashion. That's all going to be possible here. But it looks like the S&P is about to be hitting 4,700 again. At least we're getting very close to that. Rivian is still sitting at 158. Unbelievable. Sitting at a market cap of 137 billion, which is definitely an interesting sight to behold. Snowflake is about to hit $400 a share, at least from what I'm seeing here. It's getting very close. Yeah, $400 coming in on Snowflake. It's sitting at a market cap of 120 billion. I think that Snowflake is rocking a market cap way too high for its own league. But this is not the first time that Snowflake is sitting at this price point. So you can see right here, back in December, we hit 428 on Snowflake. So that's about, I think, around 6 percentage points to about 7 percentage points higher than where we currently are, which is it's quite nutty when you think about that. Meanwhile, C3.ai is still pulling back. I wonder what the Russell is doing. Oh, there you go. So the Russell's actually selling off. And I was wondering, like, why is C3 coming down? It's probably because of the Russell. The Nasdaq is heading up higher. S&P is heading up higher. The Dow Jones is actually doing pretty good, which means value stocks are doing pretty good. There was some news around Uber, I believe. Let's see. Could you take a look at PayPal? We'll take a look at PayPal in a second. We'll take a look at PayPal in a second. One second. What else is happening here? DIDI is still going down by 0.7%. Baba is not doing anything. Chinese stocks are sort of flat. Yeah, Joe Biden had a summit with Xi Jinping, which could be a positive thing for the Chinese stocks. AMD going up 3 percentage points, sitting at 150. Nvidia going up as well now, 302. Snowflake hitting $400. Everything heading up here. At least the popular stocks are heading upwards. But then you look at Palantir not going up, AI is not going up, big tech is not doing anything. BNGO, Nano Dimension, recovery stocks, and a lot of growth stocks are kind of going flat. So there are some stocks are doing really well, and other stocks are just down in the gutter. That's the kind of market that we have at the moment. It's a bit of a stock pickers market where, like, some stocks are doing incredible, like Rivian, Rivian and Lucid, incredible stocks that just keep going up higher without any breaks, really. And then you have stocks like C3 or Palantir that are just in the gutter and failing to go up, really. Along with big tech, like look at Apple. What has Apple really been doing? Nothing. Just going sideways for several weeks. Same for Google, really. Google usually doesn't go sideways like this, but it's going sideways. Amazon recently has had a kickstart because of the Rivian IPO. Netflix has been doing pretty well, I guess. Yeah, Netflix has been doing amazingly. How is Disney doing, actually? Oh my gosh. Disney at 159.4. Yeah, so it looks like Disney is pulling back quite a bit. Damn. 22% from the top. It's still, I think, it completed the gap fill there. So we've seen the gap being filled. And I still don't believe Disney is exactly cheap. They have slowing growth. I think that's the problem. Their net income was negative for 2020. We already knew that. But they went from negative income to now positive. Although their growth is relatively mild, I think, isn't it? Yeah, their Disney Plus growth was, I think, not so exciting. 18.5 billion reported, 18.8 billion reported. So on that, right, on that thing alone, the stock went down like 12% from the top. From the bottom, it's still down about 6.5%. So yeah, companies that are not able to either meet or exceed the expectation, they're doing horrible. So that's what we're seeing here. I think I would start. Actually, I would start dollar cost averaging into Disney below here, right? So below this 157, anything below this. If it goes down more, I'll be dollar cost averaging some. There will be another gap at 130 if it gets to that, right? So just keep that in mind. But yeah, it's still sitting at a very rich valuation. It's sitting at a market cap of 290 billion, and Disney. I mean, if they're not going to be able to grow substantially, there are alternatives in the market that would be superior to the Disney stock. And I think PayPal actually is superior to Disney right now, sitting at a similar market cap, yet with, in my opinion, higher growth. Of course, quarterly speaking, they're not, they don't have as much revenue, but PayPal's growing faster, 15 to 20 percentage points, I believe, on a yearly basis. And Disney's sitting at around 5%, so it's not a very large amount in growth for Disney, which is why Disney is valued at the same market cap, with the 10-year yield sitting super low. People are looking for yield, and Palantir, PayPal, not Palantir. PayPal has, I would say, relatively good revenues. You're getting a significant discount here as well, like with Disney, but even an even larger discount, right? So you're getting a 30% discount on PayPal, which I think I've talked about this before. I think PayPal was pretty cheap at around $200 in that price range, and I bought a little bit of PayPal, and it's also part of the buy and sell signal list. So for the people that don't know, we have a buy and sell signal list on Patreon, and PayPal is actually in that list. You can see that the MACD is about to cross RSI's relatively low. Most of the selling, I think, is already done. You can see that all the volume here. Most of the selling is kind of in the past now, in my opinion. You can see on the weekly chart, we have never gotten the RSI this low on Palantir. PayPal. I keep saying Palantir because I want to buy Palantir right now. I would love to buy more. So RSI is just sitting super low. So I expect at least a bounce coming upwards for PayPal, and I think we're still probably going to see the 250s. 250 zone for PayPal seems likely. This would act as a bit of a bearish channel, most likely, unless we get some positive news, right? So we'll have to wait for that. But yeah, this is definitely an interesting play. The dollar is still skyrocketing. Dollar is still heading up. Yeah, the monthly MACD crossed in September, and the dollar has been going up ever since. And what else is happening here? VIX is coming down, actually. Look at that. VIX is heading down. The Hang Seng Index was going up 1.2% yesterday. The NASDAQ is jumping again, which is it's getting crazy. Let's see if I can draw something like this. Maybe. Yeah, we're getting bullish divergence, I believe. That is good. That's positive. Short term, I would say it's okay. We could go up another 2 or 3 percentage points. But yeah, regardless, I mean, it's not like RSI is sitting at the neutral zone. It's still sitting at overbought levels, and it can only sustain that for so long. And we've already checked the fear and greed levels on a lot of. 1 second, let me just quickly. The fear and greed index. Let me quickly take a look at that. How is that looking at the moment? All right, let's switch to the fear and greed. Right. So what you can clearly see right here is that the emotion that the market is feeling right now is extreme greed. This indicator has been, I would say, it doesn't exactly say whether the market is going to pull back or anything like that. It's just something to look at. And you can see our previous close was extreme greed. 1 week ago, extreme greed. 1 year ago, greed, right? Last time we had neutral on this indicator was a month ago. It's been almost a whole month of extreme greed. And you can see here the indicators, right? Market momentum, extreme greed. Junk bond demand, extreme greed. Safe haven demand, extreme greed. Put and call options, greed. Stock price breadth, greed. Did I just say greed? Greed. Stock price strength, greed. Market volatility is neutral. Because the VIX is still sitting relatively high, right? So if the VIX would be sitting low, very low, then that would indicate, I would say, that we're a lot more greedy. Look at this chart, where we were extremely greedy and where we were very fearful. Very greedy right before the downturn that we had in 2020 with COVID. We were very greedy at the end of the year of 2020. Right, and that came down all the way. I believe we had a correction. Let me just take a look at that. Let me see. The end of the year. Yeah, it could have been August, right, or something like that. 2020. It's so unfair that they don't show the actual months. That would be very nice. I think this was probably November or December. And you can see this drop that we had right here. That was in, I believe, in October and September. We had huge drops in the markets. So, yeah. Generally speaking, you have this spike in greed. And when it comes into this range, right, this I would say around 80 to about 100, it becomes riskier and riskier, and I would say unattractive to be buying stocks short term. And where you want to be buying stocks is right here. You want to be buying stocks when everybody's fearful. Everybody's extremely fearful, and nobody knows what's going to happen. That is exactly when you want to be buying stocks. If you can look at the chart, these were the buying opportunities. March 2020, during the summer when we had the downturns in the markets, during October, September of last year, when the elections were happening. That is when you want to be buying the stocks. And I believe right now, this is a rather unattractive time to put your money into the markets, short term. Long term, I would argue, long term, this doesn't really matter, given that if you would have bought at this top, you would still be up like 40 or 50%, probably much higher. It's just short term. If you take a look at the swings that we have in the markets with how greedy people get and how we get these exacerbated valuations, I think with regards to swing trading, it's not a nice time to be buying a lot of stock, and that's one of the main reasons why I have a lot of cash on the sidelines, which I value a lot. All right, I think that was enough. Let's get back to the charts. Because the S&P is hitting significant levels again. Look at that. Okay. S&P is hitting 4,700. You can see that the NASDAQ is heading up as well, hitting 16,300 in about, I think in a couple seconds probably. We're almost there. 16,300 coming in. Interesting to see how the market is behaving. It's getting more and more exacerbated. We're getting incredible valuations on companies that, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, I don't think these companies deserve to be valued at these sky high valuations. Wow, UiPath is taking off. Look at that, 55.5. Uber going up to 45.9. I think Uber very briefly hit 46 on the news that the CEO was actually buying, I think it was 200,000 shares, which it kind of instills confidence into the company. Like if the CEO, Gara Yellen, cannot imagine Congress will let the default happen. Yeah, well, we'll see. Yellen could also not imagine that inflation was going to be higher than what she thought. Who knows? Anything can happen now, right? Oh, man. I should really sit back. Oh, yeah, we got a donation. We got a donation from Masras. Thank you so much. It's a $5 donation. Masras says, hey, brother, can you cover Robinhood, Sheg, and Neo? I think I can do that. I think I want to cover Robinhood, especially. Sheg is sitting relatively cheap. And we'll take a look at Neo as well. Let's start off with Sheg. It's now sitting at a price of about 29.3, which is, it's, what can I say? I mean, that is the bottom of bottoms, in all honesty. I don't see Sheg going down that much more. I think we've seen most of the selling pressure already happen on earnings, and it's been going down quite a bit, about 53.7 percentage points since that we've had that little top for earnings. So it's been it's been an absolute slaughter, really. You can see that the MACD is preparing to cross on the daily charts, and looking at the weekly chart, I mean, look at this RSI. It's just look how low the RSI is, right? Just notice how it's so incredibly oversold. It's back to the support zone right here, and that is a support zone. That is not a top. It's back to the support zone of 2019 and beginning of 2020, prior to the pandemic. But then if you take a look at their earnings, right? Look at their earnings. If you take a look at their earnings in 2019, they earned about $410 million dollars a year. From 2019 to 2020, right? And then in 2020, they had revenues of $644 million. So to be valued at the same prices as back in 2019, I think is rather unfair, given that the market as a whole has risen substantially, and growth stocks are obviously sitting higher, relatively speaking. So for Sheg to be sitting at 29.2, I don't believe it makes a whole lot of sense. I think there is still a lot of growth to be had. I've already covered their fundamentals. And then looking at their 2021 numbers, which you can see right here, they made $200 million in Q1. Q2, another $200 million, about $400 million alone in 2 quarters. And then I think it was $171 million, and they'll be doing another $200 million on top of that. So roughly around close to $800 million in revenue that they'll be having. So more than 2020 once again. So they're growing from 2019, 2020, 2021. Their revenues are heading upwards. Although what is happening is, you can see that right here, their net income was negative in 2020, just slightly, by $6 million. Now, what is happening recently? They burned about $65 million in Q1. And, well, ever since, obviously they've gone net positive since then, but that's a significant amount to be burning, right? $65 million. Profit margin of minus 32%, and it is going down. So their profit margins are going down, relatively speaking, and they're projected to have slower growth because of the fact that a lot of people are going back to school, because Sheg is it's an educational learning platform for students, and if there's less people enrolling into their programs because they're going to university, or I think there were less people in general going to uni and to school, which is bad for Sheg. But then also they're not enrolling onto the e-platforms. They're actually going to the physical platforms. They're actually going to uni, and they're not using e-learning platforms as as often. I still think there's growth. I think this is a short-term blip. I mean, you can see right here a very strong support, historically speaking. This bottom obviously used to be a top in 2018. The company has gone, they have pretty much been able to make more money. They grew faster. And they're projected to grow even more into the future internationally. So, but yeah, these things are just projections. And the projections that they have for the future are optimistic, and we all know that optimistic projections can get you very high valuations. I mean, look at Rivian right now. Wow, optimistic projections getting them a market cap of 138 billion. Same for Lucid, $79 billion. So I don't see why Sheg should go down further. I just don't see that happening unless there is a market correction. If we get like a proper market correction, I could see it going down to maybe around between $26, $24, around $25, right? So short-term downside to about $25, but I think long-term it's going to recover all the way back up to $40. So that's my opinion on this stock. And yeah, yeah, so something like this, right? So let's see. Let's say it drops further because the markets are dropping, and then a rebound back to like $40. This could take several months, though, obviously. This would be my worst case, actually. Best case would be it consolidates here and it just kind of gets back up there, upper 40s. All right, so Robinhood. Yeah, I don't want to make I don't want to make too many assumptions. I don't want to say a whole lot about Robinhood because payment for overflow is now getting banned or about to be getting banned in Europe, which is, I think, is quite bearish for Robinhood. Let's see what else is happening in the markets. Yeah, Snowflake is sitting at $400. Oh my gosh. What is that? Oh yeah, the Nasdaq is skyrocketing. So both the S&P and the Nasdaq are just shooting upwards right now. But the Russell is not having it. The Russell is just kind of laying low. And Gara, Yellen says, not a great deal of time left for the debt ceiling past December 3rd, Bloomberg Terminal. Check your PayPal. I'll check my PayPal in a second. Oh yeah, we got a donation of €10 from Jesse. Thank you so much. Jesse says, take a look at Cardano. ADA, please. And thank you. Thank you. I'll take a look at Cardano in a second. I'm quickly just going to check Robinhood. Robinhood is robbing the hood. Yeah, I think there's probably downside left. I mean, there's so much negativity around Robinhood right now. That doesn't mean that I don't think it was a buying opportunity in this zone. I still think it's a buying opportunity. It's just a little risky as to, well, their business could get affected severely by this whole payment for overflow thing getting banned, potentially. However, I mean, ARK is buying Robinhood like crazy, right? So Kathy Wood is just buying it in droves. I can show you right now. Let me just show you that. I think Michael Burry actually deleted his account recently. Let's see. Can we quickly... All right, I think we can... Here we go. All right. See. Okay. Switch the screen. Okay, so this is what ARK is buying. They're buying Intellia Therapeutics, 2U Inc., Vericide, Beam Therapeutics, Materialize. Where is Robinhood? They were buying Robinhood, I believe. What? Did they not buy Robinhood? Oh, there you go. Look at that. So they're buying tons of Robinhood, actually. They're buying 300,000 shares of Robinhood, which is, it translates to about, let's say, $11 or $12 million of Robinhood. It's not a significant amount for their normal purchases, but they've been buying Robinhood very consistently, even with the whole negativity around with what's been happening with Robinhood. Maybe we can see that here as well. Did they buy anything? I think they did not buy any Robinhood there. Let's see. Can we find another one? Yeah, she's also buying. Kathy Wood is also buying some Palantir. Yeah. Point being, they've been buying Robinhood consistently over the past couple of weeks. Yeah, there you go. Some Robinhood right here. 150,000 of Robinhood, and I think maybe right here as well. No, they've been buying Palantir. That was on the 11th of November. Or no, wait, 9th of November. Right, 9th of November. Yeah, there you go. Another one. They bought 91,000 shares of Robinhood on the 8th of November. So yeah, ARK is buying like crazy. I mean, maybe they know something that we don't. And I think the stock is getting cheaper and cheaper. It's not getting more expensive. I think they have a great future ahead of them, regardless. Short term, it's looking tough. But I think long term, Robinhood is going to be able to leverage their popularity and also, one second, I'm just going to quickly check what's happening here. I haven't checked everything here. Yeah, it's the same old market, right? Some stocks are doing really, really well, like Rivian and Lucid, and some stocks are doing terrible. Virgin Galactic, Netlist, Robinhood, SoFi, ChargePoint, Beyond Meat, Snapchat, Twitter, all doing pretty terrible. IONQ is still heading up. It seems like companies that have no revenue are doing amazing, right? So companies that have no revenue and that have projected revenues, right? So they're projecting the revenues into the future. Those companies are having a blast. The companies that have revenues are doing terrible. I am telling you, it's such a crazy market. People are valuing companies that have revenues into the future, right? So no revenues right now, just projected revenues higher than companies that actually have revenues. It's mind-boggling. What is Nikola doing, right? Yeah, even Nikola, look at this. Oh my gosh. Market has gone crazy. Market has gone absolutely crazy. What the hell? So yeah, companies that are about to go bankrupt or companies that have barely any revenue have been doing pretty good in the past weeks and still are doing pretty amazingly. But yeah, companies that have revenues like AI and Palantir and many other names have been doing relatively bad. Yeah, you missed NEO. I'll take a look at NEO. I think NEO is interesting to see. Yeah, with NEO, I would say, I mean, it's up about 0.5%. And that is a resistance zone for NEO. I've said it before. I mean, there is a chance that the stock pulls back slightly given the MACD crossing. But yeah, even if that happens, I still expect a huge rebound for NEO Day. NEO Day is going to be coming around on I think it was the 18th of December. So I think by the 18th of December, this stock should be closer to $60, really, than where it's currently sitting at. Although what is not helping is obviously with the Chinese stocks have not been doing that well, and I think there's a lot less demand for the Chinese stocks out there, and I think that's been one of the main reasons why NEO has been going flat. Same goes for XPeng or like Li Auto. And it's been the American companies that have really been doing well. But you can see Rivian right now. I mean, look at this. RSI sitting at 80. It's sitting at 80 right now, the 2-hour charts. On the 4-hour chart, I think the RSI is sitting close to 90, which, if you don't know, that tends to be a RSI where a stock tends to be super overbought and pulls back from. But yeah, so far, no real pullbacks. Like, let's be real, it's still sitting at 159. And NEO, I think, is really cheap right now in comparison to whatever is happening with Lucid and Rivian and GGPI. I think NEO is really, really cheap, and I think a lot of people are missing out. They're missing out on this stock, really. Let's see. Jumia stock. Yeah, Jumia has been coming down a lot. Yeah, I was never really that bullish on this stock. It's coming down almost 20% right here. Did they even have earnings yet? Or they probably already had earnings, given the fact that it's down 20%. Most likely. There we go. What do you think about DIDI stock? I think DIDI is... we're waiting for the catalyst, right? So we're still waiting for that, for the app to get back online. We're still waiting for earnings. I think once we get the app back online, it's going to go above $10. Like, it's nothing. It's just going to shoot up above $10. Once we get earnings, I mean, earnings, I don't know how earnings are going to be, we don't know how earnings are going to look like, to be frank, because with their app not being online, they can't grow because nobody can buy their, nobody can get like their app, and yeah, that's kind of problematic. So only the people that already have the app can actually use the app. But if you don't have the app, then how the hell are you going to use the app? Especially if, let's say, you get a new phone and you uninstall DIDI. Well, there you go. You can't use it anymore. So I think we might probably get a negative quarter on DIDI, probably like a very negative quarter, because they're going to have less revenues, they're going to have less everything. And most likely what we're going to see is that that DIDI is probably going to skyrocket till earnings. Maybe we hit $12, maybe $14. Then we see a super large pullback because earnings are going to be bad. And then we have to wait for another quarter because we have to see, okay, your app is back online. Are you going to be able to get back to that level of productivity? And that's what we're really, really waiting for with DIDI. So yeah, let's say the app gets back online end of November. I think the stock is going to gradually go parabolic. Let's say we have earnings end of December, somewhere here. So just goes up to around earnings. Earnings comes around, pulls back, and it's probably just going to gradually go upwards because the app is already online. The app is going to be already online. They're going to be able to generate revenue. The government is not going to be trying to kill them. So that could be something coming up for DIDI, something like this, right? And it just kind of shoots upwards into 2022, etc. Let's see. Alibaba is heading upwards about a percentage point. And what else is happening? BYD is going up about 3.6%. I mean, markets are doing pretty good. Like, markets are actually markets are on a roll because of the infrastructure bill, I think. Yeah, Virgin Galactic selling off because of Richard Branson. Let's be honest, because he's selling his stock. Okay, so I think I wanted to cover Cardano, ADA. Let's see. Where is this guy? This bad boy. Oh yeah, okay, cool. All right. Okay, so Yeah, Cardano. What is happening with Cardano? It's definitely descending downwards. And if you just, grab this trend line over here. I mean, it's holding up on the trend line. This is a long-term trend line. It's been holding up. And, inflation is still pretty darn rampant. Cardano is dropping a good chunk right now, 38%. Oh, wow. That's really interesting. Something must be happening with Cardano then. Because why else is it going down? It is due to Chumpak. What? What is Chumpak? Cardano? I have no idea. Is there some negative news around Cardano? Because it's down like 35%. I mean, Cardano. So apparently all the cryptos are heading down. So, I mean, it's not that much, really. About 15% on Bitcoin. And on Ethereum, we had about 16% from top to bottom. Cardano is selling off a lot. I mean, that's a 40% downturn on Cardano. Yeah, I mean, I would say that this is probably a buying opportunity, really. I'm actually going to consider to buy some myself. This looks, I mean, we're getting a discount, right? Like, let's be honest. It's a 40% discount that we're getting here. I don't know what the negative news is, but usually with crypto, you get negative news from all sides. People just want to take some profits right now, I guess. But yeah, inflation is still here. I mean, I think inflation is still here, right? This would be a good support, this right here. So if we get like any real serious downturns, might get back down to that level. But given the fact that I see this trend line actually holding up right now, it's actually bouncing upwards from that 1.77, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bounce back up. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Slowly get back up to about 2.5. That would be like a nice 30 percentage points move. But I don't see Cardano going down much further, given the fact that we have inflation. It's already down 40%. And obviously there's some things happening with some of the crypto miners out there. I suspect it's not going to be a very big issue for crypto. So I think it's going to bounce probably to, around 2.5. That could be a short-term ceiling or like a psychological resistance. Let's see. What else is happening? Palantir is still stuck. Palantir is always stuck. C3 is sitting at 47.2. And DIDI. Is DIDI going up? Nope. DIDI is going down about a percentage point. Classical DIDI. UiPath is up about 3.6%. Uber is going up 4.5%. It seems like we're seeing a bit of a bounce on Sheg, probably. I want to just compare something to the past. I think we might actually be able to unravel something here. What happened the last time that we had an RSI of -19? Or it's not even -19. I think it's just sorry. No. Of around 20. Because right now we're sitting at a RSI of about 17. And the last time we had such RSI was, I think that is the end of September of 2019. How much of a bounce did we get back then, right? So let's take a look at this. So Sheg actually bounced quite nicely, you know, initially around 20%, and then 60% bounce from October till to February. That's 4 months, by the way. So 60% in 4 months. And it got back to 45. I mean, I think such a recovery, I think, could still be the case. You know, it could still happen. We have a massive gap to fill. The fundamentals of the company are looking much better than back in 2019. And also keep in mind, Sheg, they're doing a buyback of about 1 billion shares. $1 billion in shares. I mean, that's going to add some buying pressure, and that could really lift the stock upwards. So, yeah, I'm going to buy some. I just can't, like, what I'm looking at, Sheg, it's like they have more revenue than back then, yet they're sitting at the same price. What? What? That makes no sense. That makes zero sense. Nada. So I'll be buying some Sheg stock right now. I'll get like $1,000 of Sheg. You probably pronounce it as Shay or She. But yeah, I'll just pronounce it the way I pronounce it. Let's see. There we go. All right. Lucid is mooning, some people are saying here. Yeah, look at that. 15% to the upside. And I think it's probably because if we take a look at the Wall Street Bets sentiment tracker, because I think that would be nice to see. The Wall Street Bets sentiment tracker. Can we view that right now? There we go. Okay, so now we switch the screen. If we take a look at the sentiment tracker right now, you can see right here which stocks are the popular stocks on Wall Street Bets. And I've said it several times. The only reason Rivian and Lucid are both skyrocketing is because we have a lot of people on Wall Street Bets, like probably thousands, if not 10,000s of people buying call options. They're buying them like crazy, as if their life is dependent on it. They're buying call options on Lucid, on Rivian, and Tesla. And that's the reason why Rivian is sitting on a market cap of 140 billion and Lucid is sitting on a market cap of like 85 billion now or something. And they're both still skyrocketing. This kind of sentiment, we've seen this before. I mean, at least 20 years ago, you know, during the dot-com, when stocks were pushing higher and higher and higher, and it didn't matter what the fundamentals were saying about the company. The only thing that mattered was there were some projections of their revenues into the future, and if at all we would see negativity, or at least back then when there was some negativity, the stock would not go down. It would just keep going up. And at some point, there was a massive rug pull, and then obviously all the tech stocks in the tech sector came down a lot. I think we're in a very similar time, and you can see right here, you know, obviously this is not everything, but this goes to show you what people are buying right now. It's Nvidia, Lucid, Rivian, Tesla. Look at those stocks today. I mean, let's have a look at what is happening with Lucid, for example. Like, what is happening here? $51.1, market cap of $83 billion. Rivian sitting at a market cap of $138 billion. Both of these companies have no revenue to show for now, for the next 3 months. Yet we're seeing a lot of momentum there. Let's see. Rivian can't break out here. Shorting and buying 130 puts will drop hard. Rivian can't break it. I think I have to agree with that. I think there's a high probability that Rivian isn't going to go anywhere, really. I mean, if it falls right now to 130, that's a 23% pullback. I mean, it's quite severe. But yeah, keep in mind, you know, we could easily see Rivian get back to $90 when the market's correct. Do not underestimate how fast markets can correct. They do indeed correct very fast. Let's see. Yeah, it seems like it's heading all the way to 55 from what I'm seeing. Right? All right. Lucid is now sitting at a market cap of $83 billion. They delivered a couple dozen vehicles. They have no revenue. I think they burned about $1 billion or something this year. So, interesting. Nvidia is sitting at 302. DIDI is coming down. GGPI, what the hell? Why is GGPI coming down? That makes no sense. People are buying Lucid over GGPI. That is just, oh my gosh. Markets are going wild. Markets are going bananas. What's happening with Peloton? Peloton is actually heading up about 14%, as you know, people are starting to buy the dip, so to speak. You know, Peloton has come down a lot, right? So, yeah, from top to bottom, I mean, it's down like 72%. That really does look like a bubble that just burst with regards to Peloton, right? Huge upside, then a huge downside. Kind of reminds me of Sheg. I believe Sheg was also down a substantial amount. Yeah, so Sheg is now down roughly around 75% from the top. So, interesting. It's kind of similar to how C3.ai is also down that much. We can take a look at C3. Yeah, around 75%, right? Which I think both these companies could probably rebound very viciously into 2022. Oh, darn. Give me 1 second here. I'm just going to quickly check what is happening. There we go. What the hell? Did like 3 people unfollowed me on Twitter? What? That's random. All right. let's just quickly. Yeah, the stock market has turned into a casino. It's notable. Casino markets. Casino markets. It's like Las Vegas over here. I wanted to check something real quick. I think it was the Fear and Greed Index. Is the Fear and Greed Index actually doing anything? Yeah, it's still sitting at extreme greed. Oh my gosh. I mean, the fact that like people are buying call options on Rivian and Lucid right now, like it's no tomorrow. I have never in my life seen such a crazy phenomenon. Beyond like what we've seen with like GameStop and AMC, this is probably the first time I'm seeing something like this. It's quite nutty. What is happening with Nvidia? 302. Seems like Nvidia is holding up at like 755 billion. I mean, wow. And then you have AMD at 182 billion. I mean, if you look at AMD's weekly chart, it looks terrifying, right? Look at this. This is what you're buying into, basically. You're buying right here. I mean, yes, it could go up higher, but kind of looks similar to a time in the past. Well, that .com period, obviously. Yeah, this is probably not a good time to be getting into stocks. Yeah, probably not. You know what? I'm gonna put $10,000 short on Lucid right now. Oh, come on. It drops when I say that. Are you kidding me? Please, no. I'm done with this stuff. Let's go. Let's go. All right, should be good. 51.5. I'll take it. It could still jump. You know, it's up 15%. You see, Rivian is now starting to move up as well. Now sitting at 162.8. It just jumped a massive amount. Let's see, how much did it go up? That's around 2 percentage points in 1 minute. You gotta understand, like, it jumped upwards 2 percentage points in about roughly around 1 minute. One candle, right? So huge upswings and huge downswings on Rivian, and it's still heading higher. Oh boy. Yeah, I can't short Rivian, so I'm like, hey, I might as well short Lucid, right? I don't have really like any other yeah, I can't short Rivian. I would love to short Rivian right now. That would be amazing. But I can't do it, so the alternative is going to be to short Lucid. What else is happening here? Big tech is kind of, you know, Microsoft is going up a percentage point. I mean, that's quite significant. Facebook is down about 1.4%. Let's see. Oh my god, Lucid is still climbing. Holy moly. It's about to hit 52, I believe. And if we take a look at the 4-hour chart, yeah, I mean we're hitting resistance, so we're close to doing so. I think we're sitting right around the gap. Yeah, we're right. Actually, no, there's a big gap to 56, but we filled. Oh, that's weird. We filled the gap to 50, but it actually goes all the way up to 56. Yeah, it's weird. Weird stuff going on, man. Weird stuff going on. Why can you not short Rivian? Well, my my trading app doesn't allow it. They don't have enough. I think it's too risky for them. They don't allow it because it's too risky for them. If they would allow everybody to short Rivian, then they would lose. They would lose a lot of money when Rivian actually starts pulling back, like it's doing right now. And they know they've got professionals working at their trading floor, and they know like they can't just allow everybody to short. Yeah, they don't allow it. I've already done the maximum amount, which was like 2,000 or something, $2,000 short on Rivian. Lucid is slightly pulling back. Look at that, 50.9. Cool. Come on, pull back all the way. That'll be very nice. Yeah, it's still sitting at 50. I'm already positive on my short, which is quite nice. I shorted at 51.5. Although my expectation is not that it's going to go down today, but I think by the end of the week, we're going to be sitting lower than 50. With the Lucid CEO is on CNBC with Jim Cramer. Really? That's cool. CNBC, Lucid CEO. Yeah, they're going to pump the stock up, aren't they? Like they always do. What else is happening here? Uber is up 5%. UiPath is up 4% to 55.7. Robinhood is down 5.4%, still going down. GGPI going down 2.3%. Interesting. That one is still pulling back. DIDI now down 1.3%. It is still pulling back. Alibaba is heading up about 1%. BYD 3.7%. Yeah, BYD is about a market cap of 125 billion, which is still lower than Rivian. Given the fact that BYD, look at this, right? So, what the hell, right? So BYD has quarterly revenues of $8.2 billion with a net income of 196 million, and they're sitting lower than Rivian. Oh, markets. Yeah, I'm gonna check if he's actually speaking right now. Is he speaking, Peter Rawlinson? Live. Let me see if it's actually happening right now. Yeah, I can't find that interview right here exactly, but yeah, I mean it's whatever. Yeah, both overvalued. Rivian and Lucid are overvalued. They're so disgustingly overvalued. I would much rather buy Tesla at 1,040 right now. And like that's how confident I am that these stocks are just super overvalued. And I don't want to buy Tesla at this price. I think Tesla's very expensive right now too. So yeah, I'm not shorting Tesla anymore. I think Tesla's down enough. It's down about 20% or something. What else is happening here? Snowflake is still heading up. Look at that, 401. It is just going parabolic. Pretty much. I mean, that's a 11% move in about 3 days or something. And I'm right on my short on Lucid. It's currently up about 15%, I believe. Market cap of 82.7 billion. Rivian is still consolidating. Really, it's not really going down. It's just consolidating. Motor Trend Car of the Year. Let me go to Twitter. Let's see what's happening with Elon. Is he tweeting? Or no, he's not tweeting. Let's grab that trend line. I mean, there's still a little bit of room left. I think we could probably, like I said before, that 45-55 range, that could still be possible. But I think once we do hit that level, I think it's going to be all the way down very quickly, similar to what we've had right there and, you know, right there. Generally speaking, when it hits this trend line, it goes down 20% or something. So if I'm shorting it right now, yeah, I might lose short term about 6-7%. But yeah, maybe longer term it could pull back to that $45 range, which would get me a profit of approximately from 51.5. I mean 10 to 15%. I'll freaking take it. And it might even go lower, right? So this is like my base case. I get back to 45. It might get back to 35. If we see like a proper market correction, it's going to get back to 35 and even below that. Obviously, it's not happening right now, but yeah. XPeng is going up about 4.3% now, sitting at a market cap of only $41 billion, really. Alts like Cardano getting smacked when Bitcoin moves. I mean, XPeng is not really going up that much. With everything that's going on with the company and just the comparisons, I think there's more upside for XPeng. I think XPeng is probably going to get back to $60 again by the end of the year. You know, we have earnings coming up. Earnings are going to be great. I think there's enough room for XPeng to just keep moving. A lot of volatility in XPeng. Yeah. What is happening with Ethereum? Yeah, cryptos are still kind of in a... Why is Li Auto there? Li Auto should be right here. Li Auto is going up 8%, by the way. It's crazy. Market cap of only 30 billion. Yet, you know, Li Auto makes quite a bit of money. They make $780 million a quarter. But the problem with all these Chinese EV makers is they're from China. People don't like that. And they're not completely vertically integrated like a Tesla or how Lucid or Rivian are going to be like. Because these two are going to be vertically integrated, which means they own the supply chain. They own everything for the most part. And that's why you're getting lower valuations on NIO, Li Auto, XPeng. We'll see. You know, we'll see over time which one is going to perform the best from these. Yeah, overall, everything else is kind of going flat, really. Not a whole lot happening here. Well, IONQ, or Ionic, is pulling up about 20%. It's incredible. Let's see what else is happening here. Yeah, Tesla's up about 2.4%. And is it like an EV index? One sec. I think I'll be able to find that EV index. Electric vehicle ETFs, right? They exist. I think it's called Drive. Yeah, that's it. This is the ETF. Whatever happened to this one, right? It is up. I mean, since September, it's up. It just doubled, right? Which I think Tesla went up more than 100% though. So, yeah, let me just check. Did Tesla go up more than 100% since September? Probably. Yeah, I mean, yeah, up a lot more than that. So, you would have been just better off just buying Tesla instead of that ETF. There's another ETF. It's called CARS. Crane Shares, Electric Vehicles, and Future Mobility. CARS, okay. Yeah, this is probably another one where like you'd be better off just buying Tesla because it's up like 100%-ish. Yeah, Tesla went up like 200% plus in that in that time. Obviously, it's an index. It's a lot safer. Yeah, so because like you can see right here, February until May, this ETF went down 18%, but keep in mind, Tesla went down 40%. It's a lot safer than just buying Tesla. Obviously, the more risk you take, the higher the probability of like rewards. But Lucid is maintaining 51.6. That's crazy. Who would have expected that? I mean, still maintaining these levels. Rivian is sitting at 160. Palantir is just barely able to budge. C3, same story. DIDI is now down 1.6%. It's actually pulling back quite severely. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really like the markets right now. Gara, the Saudi Arabian investment fund owns 30 billion of Lucid. That's great, Retail traders are making them rich. It's great. It's great for them. I bet Wall Street Bets doesn't even know who owns like most of Lucid. They don't care. They just buy calls blindly, really. Which is fine, you can do that. Let's see what they're doing right now. Yeah, everybody's just going long on Lucid and Rivian. It's so great. This guy, what the hell? What an inappropriate comment there in live chat. It's kind of weird. Yeah, so it's just a matter of time until we get a pullback, really. Let's see. What's happening on Twitter? Not a whole lot. Oh, Rivian is heading up. Let's go. 161.5. It's pulling back. Oh, it's pulling upwards. RSI 93, 94-ish. Still sitting really, really high. But it looks like we're heading to $200, really. That's what it's looking like right now. That is the trajectory. I mean, look at this. Just one straight line upwards. So, yeah. I think it looks like Rivian is going to go to $200. Which essentially would mean market cap of like... that would be a market cap of like 165, 170 billion or something, I think. That's $200. Saudi wonders what oil will do. Level 3 autonomous driving, LiDAR, most advanced battery tech in the market, new gravity SUV on the horizon. Definitely overvalued, but not nearly as much as Rivian. No, that's not how it works. This is not how it works. Just because you have several products, that doesn't necessarily mean you're less or more undervalued. Rivian has $12 billion in cash that they got from the IPO. They already had $4 billion. Rivian has about $16 billion in cash in proceeds. Lucid only has $5 billion. So, no, Lucid is not less overvalued. They're both really overvalued, right? I would say Rivian has more cash. They have the backing from Amazon. They've got 100,000 vans ordered. They've got a backlog of about 50,000 pickup trucks plus. So yeah, I would say these things are it looks like a much better deal than what you're getting with Lucid. So no, this is, I would say, yeah, so given the fact they've got so much cash and so much backing, you could not necessarily say Lucid is more or less undervalued. They're both really overvalued. They're both really overpriced short term. Little and Big just came in with a $2.8 donation and says, technical analysis on NIO, please. I'll take a look at NIO. Thank you for that donation. Yeah, so short term, I mean, it's kind of floating. It's going sideways. Barely heading up. Meanwhile, Li Auto goes up 9%. XPeng goes up 4.5%. And RSI just going neutral. Stock is not going anywhere. MACD is still heading negative, heading downwards. You got the 1 hour chart, MACD crossing potentially, bullish divergence there. So that could be interesting. I mean, if the market is going to hold, I think NIO is going to probably jump to like 42, maybe $43. Yeah, all in all, I just expect it to go sideways for now, though. Not a whole lot of excitement on NIO's part. But yeah, we do still have the NIO Day, which is in about a month from now, on the 18th of December. Whether the market pulls back and NIO goes down, or the market is going to just go sideways, I think NIO stock is going to go to $50 and beyond that for NIO Day. All right, so I think I'll be wrapping up the current live stream. I'll be back probably in about 3 hours or 2 hours probably at this point, and we'll be live streaming for Power Hour, and yeah, I think the market has officially turned into a complete casino. I'll be selling more stocks in the coming days and in the coming weeks. I will still keep stocks, but I think it just doesn't make sense to be holding a whole stock portfolio when you're seeing like this kind of frothiness in the markets. It's really dangerous. People really underestimate it. If you take a look at like what happened in the .com, I mean, if you held stocks back then, short term, you would have been happy, and then a couple months, couple years later, everything was down the gutter. So you want to be careful. You want to have some capital on the sidelines. You want to be able to manage your risks and come out of this alive. So lots of excitement in the markets. Markets are still green despite all the negative indicators. It seems like the infrastructure bill is overshadowing everything. So far so good. Everything heading up. Stocks only go up. Greed at the maximum. Everybody's in the markets. People from the low income class to the high income class, everybody's in the markets. All right, it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Have a great day, everybody. We'll be back in a couple hours. Smash that like button. Once again, we're live from Monday till Friday from 8:45 to 10:30 a.m. And from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. twice a day for market open and market close. Obviously, those times are Eastern time. So just want to let you know. Check me out. Check the social medias. Twitter is down below. Instagram, Discord community. You can find all the links down below in the description. And once again, support me on Patreon for many benefits like the buy and sell signal list, the stock picks, the newsletter, and many other benefits which you can find on Patreon at patreon.com/lucid trading. Check it out. You can get a 15% discount. And a lot of people have been finding this very useful. And I think you would too. So check it out at patreon.com/lucid trading. I'll be going now. Have a good one. Good luck in the markets. I'll see you soon.